What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Zatima. This is season 3, episode 12, and the episode is titled Tipping Point. So, Fatima, she ends up going back home with Angela, right? Now, Angela, she's trying to convince Fatima to put in more effort when it comes to Zach. And here's the thing. What exactly can she do? Because you have Fatima being like, listen, I already talked to the lawyers that I do know, and they're not criminal attorneys, so it's not like they can really help me. And at the end of the day, Zach made this bed, so he gotta lie in it. And at this point, Fatima says, listen, I'm just gonna go ahead and go to work because there's not much that I can do here. Okay? And next thing you know, when Angela is walking out the door, Preston, he comes over. Now here he go asking dumb questions again. So he decided to ask her if she thinks that he'll be able to go see Zach while he's in jail. So you're going to go see Zach, and then what's supposed to happen? Like, what are you going to do exactly? How do you think you can help him out of this situation? So then she ends up giving him the contact that she has so that way he could possibly see Zach or whatever. And then Preston, he goes on his way. So I'm thinking that Preston was the only person who pulled up. Oh no. He goes outside, and why is Bryce there, y'all? I could have swore that the last time we saw these two, he told Bryce to stay at the office. Bryce, why are you here? It's not making any sense. So then he's like, yeah, I want to go with you, Preston, and I want to go help. Now, Preston, he ain't going for it. So he ends up shutting Bryce down like, listen, let me go handle this, and you go do something else because we all know that Zach don't want to see you. So then we have Bryce going on and on about how he didn't know that Zach was this violent, and then says that, he feels like in some way this is his fault. Like, I get it. You had the whole money issue with Zach, but Bryce, I need you to know that everything is not about you. Please stop it. So moving on from there, we see Fatima, she's in her office, and then she ends up calling Dr. Reed, and I'm like, why are you calling this man? Like, how is this going to help the situation? I'm a little confused here. And honestly, this scene made no sense because she asked him, did he talk to Zach? And he's like, yeah, I did talk to him or whatever. And then she goes on to ask him, oh, well, did Zach tell you he was in jail? Girl, when was he going to have time to do that? So then she goes on to explain how Zach, he killed his brother, and that's why he's in jail. And basically, he told her to breathe and then try to process everything. Great advice, sir. So they end up agreeing that they're going to meet up later. All right, whatever. I don't see for what, but okay. Preston, he ends up getting in to see Zach, right? Now, Bryce, he has the audacity to say that, maybe he can go back there and see him. Sir, what's your obsession with Zach? I need for you to stop and stop it right now. Preston literally had to shut him down yet again. And then Preston goes on to talk about the fact that he's not there to really talk to Zach. He's just there to listen. Baby, this is not the time for we listen and we don't judge. This ain't the time for that. But okay. So Preston's name gets called on a loudspeaker or whatever. He got to get processed so that way he can go back there and talk to Zach. Next thing you know, Bryce ends up picking up the phone to call Angela, and now Bryce wants to come by. And I'm just like, what is there to talk about? Angela don't really like you like that. Why do you keep forcing yourself on her? And then we see that Angela, she's at lunch. And then we also see Belinda pop up. I said, well, now what is going on here? And Angela, why are you up here gossiping with Belinda? Like, am I the only one saying that it's giving that Angela is two-faced at this point? Because it really is. Because we see Belinda, baby, she has this huge grin on her face. And Angela's like, wait, did you tell Zach where Jeremiah was? Now, I thought she was referring to the fact that, when they were all in her house and Zach ended up coming over. I thought she was referring to that. But no, Belinda is the one who told Zach that Jeremiah was in the hood. Now, I'm just trying to follow the storyline because this is what they're telling us. why would why would Belinda end up calling Zach after he done tore her place up? There's no more for me to call you about unless I'm calling you to say, Negro, when you gonna come pick this stuff up? And when you gonna pay to get my stuff fixed? Like, I don't see why she would call about Jeremiah yet again. And also, how did she know that Jeremiah was back in the projects? Because she don't live over there. So I'm not understanding how she knew that. Now, after learning this new information, Angela, she sees Belinda for who she is. And I'm just like, girl, Belinda has shown you who she was all 3 seasons of this show. Okay? Why are you not waking your eyes up? So next thing you know, Fatima shows up and Angela, she just kicks Belinda to the curb. And I'm just like, but you was just cool with her. You were just cool with Belinda a second ago when it was convenient for you. Why are you now kicking her to the curb? So then, Fatima, she gets there, sits down. I'm just like, girl, why aren't you calling Angela out? Because that would have been my first thing that I said when I sat down at that table. Like, girl, why are you here with her? Why are you still friends with her? So they start to talk or whatever. And honestly, I hate the verbiage that is used whenever Fatima and Angela talk. Because it could be like, girl, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Okay. You sure? I can't do it. I cannot do the conversations between Angela and Fatima. I hate them so much. But moving on from that, the remedial conversations that are had, very much giving children. Fatima, she finally asks Angela, like, girl, why was Belinda here? And Angela's like, well, you know how she is. Girl, no, ain't no you know how she is. You invited her here when you thought that Fatima stood you up. Like, be honest about it. So Fatima, she tells her that, Belinda, she's not your friend. And if she was smart, she would drop Belinda. And honestly, when it comes to Angela, I think that it's hard for her to drop Belinda because technically Belinda hasn't done anything to her. She's done things to Fatima. She's done things to Zach, but not to Angela. And on top of that, I feel like because Angela has known Belinda for so long, she thinks that, the original Angela is still in there, and girl, she's not, okay? I think that she's hoping that the friendship will come back between all 3 of the ladies, and it'll be mended, but it's not going to happen. Now, moving on from that, Preston, he goes to the back and he sees Zach, right? Basically, Zach wants him to get all his money from Bryce and give it to Fatima. And I'm just like, what money? Didn't y'all just buy the property that y'all gonna renovate or whatever? What money do you got left? Like, honestly, I hate the storyline that Zach, he came up on this money. He supposedly wanted to invest in some properties when really the only income that he have is the rent money from Deja. Like, how much is that, sir? A solid, what, $1,500? What's that going to do every month? Like, Zach has spent all the money that he's made. I really feel that way. I don't understand why this storyline just keeps going on and on about Zach having all of this money. Baby, that money has had to have dwindled by now. Nonetheless, like I said, he want to give it to Fatima or whatever. And then Preston is like, well, maybe we should save some of it for your defense. But Zach is like, no, I did what they said that I did and I got to live with that. So at this point, Zach is like, but don't judge me because Fatima already judged me and questioned if it was worth it. And I said, yeah, all that whining that he loved to do. Now, here's the thing. Zach feels like, what else was he supposed to do when it comes to his brother? And I'm just like, well, sir, you blew a lot of the things out of proportion. Like, your girl told you that she was good and you still went after him. Let's reassess our actions. So at this point, Zach has realized that this is the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes down to this idea of Fatima being a ride or die for him. And he feels like, he'll be in jail for the rest of his life because there's a video of what went down. And now Zach, he wants Preston to wait by the phone for him to call, but also have Fatima nearby. So that way he can hop on the phone with Fatima because she not answering his phone calls. Sir, what? Now, we all know that Fatima went to work. So are you expecting for Preston to go wait for her at the law office or chase her down when she is at that little meeting with Dr. Reed later on in the evening? I'm trying to understand Zach's expectations. All right, so now it is dark outside and Connie has pulled up to Zach's house and nobody is there. So Deja come outside, of course, and she's like, they're not here. And then she goes on to tell Connie all the drama that's been going on and how Zach, he's in jail for killing his brother. And Connie is like, oh, what? What are you talking about? For real? That's what happened? So she ends up calling Tony, and they like, yeah, Zach got arrested. And she's like, I'm confused. And then she ends up getting off the phone. Now, at this point, she's confused because she know that Jeremiah ain't dead, okay? At least the last time that she checked, that man was still alive. Now, we also see Deja come back outside, and then Connie is like, still waiting around because come to find out, her 95 Corolla needs a jump. And Deja, she ain't gonna help her, okay? She probably don't even know how to jump a car. So that's not gonna work. But just in the nick of time, who shows up? Preston. He is walking by and they just like, girl, man, can you help her? Because she need to jump on her car. Okay. Now, here's my thing. He says that, yeah, he'll give her a jump or whatever. And he goes and walks off to his car. Sir, it's all these spots in the front. Why didn't you park right, in front of Zach's house or maybe a little bit further down the block? He acts like he parked around the damn corner. Like, sir, where are you going? Then we see Fatima pull up in the driveway. And then I look at that driveway. I said, wait a second, where is Zach's car? Because Zach's car should still be in the driveway, right? Or did he leave it in the projects the night before when he was over there fighting his brother? Somebody go check on that man's car. Because I wouldn't leave my fancy car in the projects at all. Now, moving on. Fatima, she ends up talking to Connie about how Zach is in jail or whatever. And then Preston, he ends up showing back up. Oh, baby, when he showed up, why was Zachary Taylor on the phone? I said, oh, they just doing phone calls all through the night at the jailhouse, wherever they are. Okay. Yeah, Fatima don't want to talk to him, okay? She ends up going in the house. And Connie ends up getting on the phone, and Zach, he ends up asking her to handle the funeral arrangements for his mother because basically he feels like Fatima is not going to do it because at this point she's at odds with him. And Connie's like, yeah, that's no problem. I got you. Now, I just want to know, Negro, what funeral? Her own sons won't even be there. So who is coming to see your dead mama? And I'm not even trying to be mean like the rest of the people in the projects. Like, what's going on? What funeral? We don't even have to do all of this. You can save some money, really. Nonetheless, like I said, Connie said she'll handle it. And he ends up asking her to talk to Fatima for him. Now, here's my thing, okay? Connie actually goes over there to talk to Fatima, knocks on the door. And Fatima opens up the door. She's like, I don't feel like talking. What's going on? And she's like, I'm just going to let you know that I'm taking over this stuff for the funeral because Zach wants me to do it. And she's like, Fatima was like, so he doesn't think that I would, take care of his mother's funeral arrangements? And Connie was like, no, it's nothing like that. It's just, you have a lot on your plate. Now, yes, Fatima has a lot on her plate. And also, if you want to be honest, Connie should have been handling that damn funeral because she's the only one who knew his mama. Like, she literally was the only one who was kicking it with her all the time. So then Connie had the audacity to ask Fatima if she was going to give up that easily. That easily? That easily. Connie, I'm sorry, you haven't been around long enough to know all the things that Zach has put this girl through. So I'm going to need you to pipe down. Like, yeah, she's done with him. Then, with Fatima, she wants to go back inside of the house. Connie is like, nah, something ain't right. You got to come with me real quick. And Fatima at first is like, no, I don't need to go anywhere with you. I am tired. I don't want to be around y'all, honestly. You can tell she don't want to be around Connie. She don't want to be around nothing that has to do with Zach. But she ends up giving in, and they end up going to the hospital. And when they go to the hospital, Connie ends up pulling back a curtain, and it shows that Jeremiah is not dead. And in that moment, I said, you know what, Tyler? I'm sick of you. I am sick of Tyler's writing at this point. I don't care if he has writers on Sisters, because honestly, I have a lot to say about Sisters, and it's not good at this point. And when it comes to Zatima and Sisters, I understand they're not on the same timeline, time frame, any of that. However, you cannot have both shows on at the same time with the same scenario. Did we not see Gary laid up in a hospital bed? Okay? Yet you had Agent Watt over on Sisters accusing everybody of killing Gary Borders. For us to turn around on Zatima and have Jeremiah still be in a hospital bed, yet we are accusing someone of murdering him and having him in holding. How does that make sense? 2 shows? Really, Tyler? Do better. But y'all, that is my review. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.